my God.
Look at you. You're on stage. You're doing interviews now.
On a podcast. Who knows me? What's happening 2020? Thank you, COVID.
Oh my goodness. Gosh. All right. So we are live.
Yay!
Right.
Welcome.
No warning there, Doris.
No warning.
For real. I was like,
we are live. Welcome to Lais and The Coach.
Hi, Doris.
And this evening we are talking to Team Forever athlete Doris.
Yes.
Who just competed in Miami at the WBFF Pro-Am.
For the first time.
And we wanted to chat with her about how that all went.
Oh, it's cold in here.
I'm literally like almost sweating.
Is it my presence?
It could be. It could be.
Let's just make sure this is made
public
here.
Yeah.
Because last time, there it is, only me.
Yep.
Perfect. Public. All right, Doris, you're for sure going public.
All right. Yes, here we are.
Perfect.
So
started.
All of these always kind of start the same way, where we want to tell the story of the journey, right? Like how it all came to happen. And we talk a little bit about how the experience went all the way to show day and so on, right? So let's start at the very beginning. What made you decide to, or what got you thinking about competing? Let's start there.
Well, initially, that wasn't what I was thinking when I went. I mean, it's always been something that we've done in my family, and my husband, you guys already know, had competed back in 2017.
Oh no, did we freeze?
No, we're live.
Doris.
Because you're like, how old am I? You know, maybe it's too late for me. I'm a mother. You know, I can't take that time away from the kids. Who knows, right? Because as moms, we always put the kids before us, right? And in reality, we need to actually put us before them, because I think our sanity is what reflects best for them, right?
I agree.
So I found you through Erica, right? Because before I was doing this, I was actually, you know, doing my running and stuff like that. I was trying to find myself in what it is that I had the passion for. Like, let me go run for a little bit and see how I feel about that. You know, I've done the gym thing. I've done the CrossFit thing. I've done this, I've done that. I've explored all options. Let me see what I find true passion with. And so I explored all those avenues, right? And then she would post you as her nutrition coach. And I know that was where I had the biggest issue, right? Because the exercise, the determination, everything was there, but nutrition is such a big and important factor in all this. You know, I think it's the biggest, to be honest. And so I clicked your link, and I'm looking through your stuff and I'm going, wow, these people eat Nutella? Where's the broccoli? Where's the chicken? Where's like repetitive, boring stuff that every other coach, every other trainer, you know, puts you on that you get tired of within days or weeks, you know, realistically.
Right.
You know, before you achieve your actual goal, right? You get frustrated because it's like such a deficit and so, you know, so strenuous and so extreme that it keeps you from living a normal life, right? You know, especially when you have a family and kids and stuff, and you go out to places and you think, I can't eat that. And I can't do that. So I was like, I gotta go look up Mr. Boot Camp, what he's about. So I did. And then we spoke about WBFF, and I wasn't really familiar with it. But I left thinking, oh, I'm gonna do the nutrition with him and see how it goes. And if it goes well, then I'll just do the competition.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see how it goes.
One day, right? But you call me back at 3:00. I was turning the corner. So you were like, oh, my wife is coming back in about an hour. And I was like, You know, I don't know, because I'm usually not that like intuitive as far as like making such decisions. But I'm
Impulsive.
like, I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll do it. So I went back, and then I met Lais, and she made it seem so much fun. So and I thought to myself too that if I really wanted to, reach my goal, that I needed to make that commitment to something,
Right.
right? Because, you know, that's really the determining factor. Like, oh, I have to be ready for this. There's no way I'm gonna step on a stage not looking right, you know? And then it becomes, not only your goal, but it's like now I have something to do for myself, which I had never been able to do before, right?
And
Yeah,
that's the best part.
that is the best part.
It is.
So obviously you came with some ideas on what you thought was going to happen, right? And I know that you had seen some of our stuff, but I think that sometimes people see some of those posts and they think that they're just for social media, right? Like
Mhm.
we've talked to people that don't think that we eat that way, right?
Yeah.
Like they think it's fake. They
It's
think
the
it's
best.
just for that.
Like I've
So
literally gotten asked, like, do you actually eat the stuff that you post? I'm like, no, I just make it, take a picture of it and throw it in the garbage. Like, what the hell?
I go to restaurants, I go to the table next to him and I go, "Can I film your stuff? I'm gonna pretend I'm eating that."
it's me. But
Yeah.
but I'm sure
Mhm.
that even in spite of all the stuff that you saw, and after what I said, whatever I said, I'm sure that that other stuff is still in your head. Like, no, but it's still going to be, regimented. And you got your meal plan, and what happened next?
I
Because
got
I
my
never get to talk. I never get to talk to anybody.
I know. I got my meal plan and I said to myself, what was fun about my meal plan was the open meal part, right? The open meal. And I was like, open meal? What does that mean? Right? And then I remember, well, I would go to the gym and be like, oh, I have an open meal this weekend. But I don't know what that's gonna be. And they were like, you better go all out on that meal, throw in whatever you've been craving, because that's that's something you're not gonna see, you're just gonna be like, I wish I would have taken it at later times of the prep or whatever. And I was like, open meal. So I remember that I had open breakfast and open dinner Saturdays and Sundays. And the
Mhm.
open breakfast was a bowl of cereal, right? And I remember eating the bowl of cereal and feeling like so guilty, like, oh my God, I'm eating cereal. Is this, really what's supposed to be happening? And then I was like, all right, when I would see that I would step on the scale and that it wouldn't affect me, I was like, man, I ate cereal and look at me now,
This.
I'm a pound lighter. How did that manage, or how did I manage that? And then I would do the open meal at night. I would still play it safe. I was still trying to like portion that 4 ounces of whatever protein and the whatever ounces of carbs, and then I was like, oh my, I gotta eat broccoli or something. Like, I don't know, like open meal, but oh shit,
Put
right?
some green on it.
Do something. And then I learned rather quickly, open meal, go eat a burger, Doris. It's gonna be okay. And that was the best part, was like learning that you could eat, those things, as long as you follow the plan, right?
Right. Because
As
that's the key, right? Like you still want to be on course, and even though that's part of being on course, it's not burgers every
There's a
day,
method to the madness, is
right?
what I always say.
right.
Yeah.
But so you had how many weekends before you actually had a burger?
I think I went about a month, and maybe about a month and a week. I think it was like week 5 that I was like, it's time.
It's it's
Did you
happening.
regret not taking advantage of it those other weeks?
You don't remember that I made a huge deal? It was like one of our Saturday meetings in court.
I told you, I'm like, you could go here, here, here.
So, you learn too from speaking to other people, because, you kind of like, man, you second guess yourself, you doubt yourself. And then you don't want to make that text like, hey, coach, can you teach me a little bit about open meals? Like you want to like approve and get everything authorized and okayed. And I don't know, like it was just like that safe haven that you need to like, it's going to be okay. And then you kind of like come to terms with it. And it's
And what about, like, you know, obviously with this year being what it was in terms of scheduling, how much of this journey to the stage took away from you, like in terms of schedule? Was it super time consuming, or
the truth is that the way that I programmed myself, while the gym was open, that you guys had the gym open or whatnot, it was at 5 o'clock. It
Yeah.
didn't interfere with my day. You know, I worked, my kids went to school, you know, they came with me when it was time to train. It was not a big deal. It was 45, 50 minutes of their day, you know, and that was that. And after that, I said to myself, okay, then, you know, now we're gonna do the gym thing when you guys weren't available anymore or whatever. And I would do it at 5 o'clock in the morning, not because it was a it wasn't necessary. Like I didn't have to do it that way. I did it that way just to be, you know, worry free. Like, let me knock that out the way. I'm not affecting anybody. My husband's sleeping, my kids are sleeping. By the time I get back, the day's just begun. And I've finished, you know, with my goal for the day, which is whatever, you know, fit thing I had to do or whatever workout I had to do that day. And the food is there is like that's it. From there on out, you just prep your stuff and you're good for, you know, you're good to go. So it really doesn't take nothing but an hour of your day, if that, you know, however long your workout is.
and then, you know, when you were back at the beginning, right? Like, did you think or feel like you should have been doing more stuff? Did it kind of like counterintuitive that I reduced everything so much?
It, yes and no.
Okay.
Um, I didn't feel that you ever reduced anything to
Okay.
a like I didn't feel like I really never felt
Now with
what I
your food,
thought.
with your workouts.
The workouts were quick and effective at the beginning.
You
Remember?
weren't in the gym for 2 hours, 3 hours, like.
No, I wasn't. I
Did
wasn't.
you think that would you like going into it? Did you think that that's what was gonna take?
No, I thought I was gonna be doing fasted cardio for hours and, you know, eating one stem of broccoli or one asparagus, you know, by the time the competition came. But it never turned out that way. You know, like I kept waiting for that extreme. You know
That
what I
thing
mean?
happened.
Any minute now, I'm gonna be on a green of rice, one little asparagus here, but it never came, you know. And still, I made huge progress. Like it was big.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, I was looking at your she made a collage today. I was looking at your before and afters. I mean, I sent you collages throughout the prep so that you could see,
I do the after.
yeah, so that you could see from, you know, from one check-in to the other. And from one check-in to the other, like your progress was significant. But I was looking at like the before, the day one, and the stage, and
It's ridiculous. It's so good. You know, I think when you do those, it's not always that people can see the difference because you see it as a coach, like from check-in to check-in, even if they're subtle, right? Like you see the difference. I remember the first time I shared progress pictures with him, I wanted to cry. I was like, this is terrible. He's like, no, it's amazing. Look at this. And I'm like, I don't see what you see, right? But that's why I think I like the after, because it's like, okay, here's where we started. Here was stage. It's so drastic. It's impossible to miss. The week by week or every few weeks, it's a little bit harder.
You get the little yeah, right. The automatic emojis guy, like that's not true.
Because he can see how it's turning out, and we can't a lot of times, you know. So
This guy's like a fortune teller, which is I'm serious, right? Because I remember asking him, hey, you know, what do you see my stage weight being? He called it on the dot months ahead. And I was like, yeah, right.
yeah, she literally went like that. She's like,
mm-mm. I was like, no. And then I remember being stuck steady on a weight, and I would tell him, you know, I don't know what it is about this number that it just doesn't want to let me go. And I would see, you know, like me getting closer to the knee and that it wouldn't change. And I was like, I'm not gonna hit that ever. And that morning, because I brought my scale with me, holy shit. He was like, what did I say? And I was like, you're a god. It was crazy.
But you know what makes, or for you, right? During those times when the scale isn't moving, right? Because we know now, like that wasn't the thing, and it doesn't matter how many times you hear it and we're about the scale or whatever. But what makes you look at the number, not move, and keep moving forward?
Well, the truth is that I learned so much in this whole situation, because as I'm weighing in on a daily basis, right? I start what you're looking for, which is the trend of how I respond to it. I start to catch, like I start to see, like, oh, okay, I did this during the weekend. This came back at me on Monday, but by Wednesday, Thursday, I'm back to normal. See what I'm saying? And still making progress. So that panic of a Monday morning, that is subsided. Like that doesn't happen to me anymore, right?
Right.
After, like, say this weekend that I told you what happened to me and the whole nine, today I was like, I'm not happy with where I'm standing, but it's gonna be fine by Wednesday or Thursday. Like, like it just, I didn't panic, which is great, and I think that's important for people to know, because we're unfortunately so like married to that scale, so programmed by that scale. See? And it's not the scale. Like it has, one thing has nothing to do with the other. I've been at this weight before.
Mhm.
I never looked how I look now.
Yeah.
You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
That's one part. One part is thinking that a number on the scale is going to reflect a certain look. It doesn't always. But the other thing is, I love when people actually say what you just said, because to me, one of the most powerful, parts about this journey is when someone fixes or mends their relationship with food and their relationship with the scale. And sometimes this process can do the opposite, right? This process will do what you allow it. It'll transform you internally tremendously if you allow it, if you don't just stress and just focus on show day, right? Like if you embrace the journey, it really is such an internal transformation. But fixing your relationship with food and not thinking, oh, this is not okay to eat, and this, and feeling guilty, like all the things that are bad around your relationship with food, fixing your relationship with the scale, not freaking out, not putting all of your progress or all of your excitement on the scale. Those two things to me are probably like the biggest wins ever of this journey that people don't always take away. So I love to hear when someone does, because you got out of this what you were supposed to. Yes, you transformed. Yes, you set a big goal for yourself. You rocked it, but you also fixed other things that matter so much, that are forever.
So many things out of it that I never thought I was going to get out of it, which is like ridiculous. I don't even know. I tell you guys all the time, like, I don't even know how to put it into words, like where I'm at right now, and it's not even like, anything that, like, it's just a whole different mindset. It's a whole different view. You carry yourself completely different. Your relationships become different. And I'm talking about in all aspects, marriage, friendship, you name it. Because, you're going out there, let's face it, guys, a lot of people have been affected this year. I was just showing my husband the pictures that we shared earlier, Lais and I, the progress pictures that we just spoke about. And I'm like, and you thought I was a hot mommy? Look at this, right? And he's like, wow, like that's incredible, right? Because you don't see it, what I mean? So it's just like, and I went to work. Let's just close, right? I went back to work, and everybody was like, what have you been doing?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody's like eating their emotions and their feelings, and the fact that they were, locked up for however long, and we were so limited to this whole new thing, and I'm like, thank you, COVID. Like, thank you, 2020,
It's what you make of it.
something for myself that completely turned everything around, so that was, I mean, it's
and now, like that you say that, like, how did that play out with because I always ask people, how does it play out with your social circle, with your friends and family? Because for a lot of people this is foreign, right? You start like doing all this stuff and everybody has an opinion.
Mm.
How much stuff did you get?
Absolutely. Well, to begin with, Thanksgiving, my uncle was like, "You look weird, bro." Like basically totally like weird, this and that. My aunt now says that I've aged, right? That my body looks great, but my face is aged a little. And you get all these things, and I'm like, all right, man, if this is what aging is like, let me keep doing it the way I'm doing it because I feel great about it, right? Nothing that Botox and fillers can't fix.
For real.
Like it's just, a lot of people find it extreme, or so they think that I've like been so I've sacrificed so much, and this poor girl didn't have a social life in this whole time, and that's not how it's been.
Yeah.
I think it's been fine. The thing is, I did keep it low key,
Right.
for me, because I wanted the holy, where have you been?
Right.
I wanted that. So now I just get now I get interviewed on what are you eating for breakfast? I'm like, not just breakfast, guys. But you don't really care to answer those questions. Now I'm like, let me guide you and show you guys where to find my peeps. That made this happen for me.
I think it's funny. Every time someone has something to say, it's usually people that don't know anything about what you're doing. Meaning, like, it must be such a sacrifice. It's like, unless you're with me all day, you don't know if I'm sacrificing or not. And sacrifice is a matter of perspective, right? Like, I think it's a huge sacrifice to look in the mirror and hate the way that you look and not do anything about it, or to not do something for yourself, or to stress out about today you went out and you ate too much, so now you're guilty, and tomorrow let me cut everything out. Like, that's a sacrifice, So it's usually the people who don't have any idea of what it takes or what you specifically are doing that always have the most to say. Have you noticed?
I lost you for like 2 seconds.
We lost you earlier too. No, I was saying it's usually the people who don't know what it is exactly that it entails, like what you're doing, that always have something to say, like the sacrifice or the extreme or whatever the case is.
Did you notice that?
That the people that were, well, yeah, it's nobody that knows what I'm doing, obviously, or not doing anything close to what I'm doing. That's a fact,
What's the craziest question that somebody has had for you?
I don't, how long, I got a lot of questions like, oh, how long did it take you? Oh, how much time have you been at the gym? Like it's always that, like, because everybody again thinks that it's extreme. Nobody could fathom, dude, this is 45 minutes of your day and just a little bit of discipline as far as your food is concerned. And I'm talking about minimum, because you have people that eat mac and cheese as their carb. Like, hello, how much more flexible do you want than that? Like, in all reality. And you also you go so into what people like and enjoy eating, right? So you're not gonna stop eating what you like.
Yeah.
You're just gonna learn how to.
But that's the thing. I think that if you're not, like, if you're coaching somebody and you don't sit down and talk to them, that's first, right? Like, let's have a talk. But if you don't sit there and say, hey, how do we make this experience a little bit simpler by including the things that you're most likely to eat anyway, right? If you don't start there, then you probably shouldn't be having the other conversations, because you set up people to fail, right? If you start day one, somebody comes through the door and they're like, hey, I saw those people do that thing on the stage, I want to do that too. And they walk out with a piece of paper that says, chicken and brown rice 5 times a day, then maybe they do it for the first couple days because they're excited. But what happens when there's a party on the weekend? What happens when you're sick of the brown rice and chicken? What happens when there's a party to go, like the holidays now, that there's something that you want to attend, right? Like, I think that those sacrifices are the ones that people think you have to make. Mm-hmm. And from the very beginning, they're already saying, no, I'm not willing to make that sacrifice, as opposed to maybe just entertaining the conversation a little bit, and so that they get you don't have to do that, right? Because I also think that that's their out.
Yeah, that's the reason why they can't.
Right. So
the time that I had that social gathering of those people that I hadn't seen in like
Yes.
how many years with my parents. And I'm like, should I just show up to their house with my container? He's like,
Remember,
absolutely not.
we went back and forth a few times because I was like, you are not showing up with Tupperware.
He goes, you haven't seen them in forever. You're gonna think you're weird. And I was like, well, what do I do? He's like, you're gonna eat whatever they offer you. You know, we're just gonna like incorporate it into your meal plan. And I was like,
I remember I said, take a picture of whatever they have and send it to me. You're like, no. We literally went back and forth over that party for a while.
And it worked out perfectly fine. And it was
fine.
like just basic Cuban food, like
Right.
rice and whatever. You know?
I think that's,
my husband was like, you're eating yuca? Oh, I'm telling you, I was like, it's approved.
I'm allowed.
But I think it's that like people want to think that it's really hard.
Yeah.
And they think that like even the weighing of the food, that comes up all the time. Like, oh no, I can't weigh all my food all the time. That's too hard. Like, is
it though?
It's not. It's not. I've taken my scale in my purse. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not that. And besides, it doesn't really get that you know intense until like what 2 weeks out, 3 weeks. Like, not really that bad.
Yeah.
So
a friend of mine that said to me this weekend, oh my God, Doris, you know, I saw your thing through the whole Instagram thing, and you must have felt so empowered walking out on that stage, looking how you looked, and not worried about your stretch marks. You know how that's my thing.
mm-hmm.
And you couldn't even see them. And oh my God, I want that too. You know? And I was like, I know it sounds corny. It's not like, you know, my personality is not that way. Like, I don't go around going, oh my God, it's been a life-changing experience, because it's not who I am.
Right.
But I recommend that to anybody. You know, it's not until you've done it for yourself that you understand, you know, the level and the change and the wow that you're gonna get out of that.
I've been saying that
more, because then my mom is like, no, what was it? She told me, your face is long now, but you look good. And then she goes, I already know, to get used to the idea, because you'll be doing now this till you're 55. And I'm like, she goes, because you go hard on everything. And I'm like, don't knock it till you try it, lady. You know? So,
well, it's funny because I've been saying that literally since I walked off stage the first time a few years ago. Like, that was the first thing I said. Like, what he said, like he tells everybody, you're going to walk off stage, be like, that was great, bucket list, you know, I did it, but not really my thing. Or you walk off stage being like, when's the next one? And for me, it was when's the next one, but it wasn't necessarily because I wanted to experience again, although I did. It was like, I need to take someone else to the next one. Like, there's got to be one other woman who wants to do this. Like, someone else needs to experience this. Another mom, another woman needs to experience this. Like, that's literally how I felt. Doesn't matter who you are, what your starting point is, what your life is like no one was less qualified to do this than me. Like, I was not in shape. I was not on a meal plan. I was super shy. I was not a front of the room person. I was not outgoing. I did not like the idea of getting on stage. Like, I was not a model. Like, there was nothing about that like was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, that didn't make any fucking sense at all, you know? But I did it for a lot of different reasons, and I got 20 million other things out of it that weren't even my original reasons. And I was like, I know I'm not the only one. Like, there is no freaking way that so many other women don't feel what I felt and then can experience this in whatever capacity that they can, because we are all unique. And that was my thing. I walked off stage and I told him, I was like, there's got to be one other woman that can do this. And the rest is history, like I always say. But I feel like I love when other people say that, because coming from me, sometimes it seems like, well, this is what we do. This is our life. That's got to be easy for her. They have a gym, or she's always with him 24/7, right? Or that's their business, or whatever. There's always, but at that time, none of that was true. Like, I didn't live in the gym, and this wasn't really fully what we were doing, right? But it's like, it's biased when it comes from me, where it's like, of course she says that, you know, she does this or that. I love it when it comes from other people because it's always so genuine, and it's the exact feeling, like it's my anchor. It's the exact feeling that I felt from day one, and I continue to feel that way. And I love when other people have that same feeling, because that's what it's all about, truly. Like that's
No,
100%.
the truth is that, I mean, yeah, everybody would love to have Ralph in their pocket. Like, here, we're here.
Would you though? Would you? It comes with a few other things, like how much is that? How much are you eating there?
But it's, I, to be honest with you, in apart from the stage experience and the whole nine, the best part was backstage.
Yes.
The best part was backstage, like being with other girls, everybody having the same, you know, the same vision, the same feel. Doing it with you was also like, wow, right? Because it's not only my posing coach being there telling me what to do, now she's doing it too. She's got the same feels that I got, right? So that was a really cool experience for all of us as amateurs to be able to do it and see the pros going through it as well, right? So that for us was like a bonus because that wasn't the plan originally.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
But when you're back there and you're like, and you, the camaraderie and the whole like team thing, and you feel like you're part of something, we miss that, guys. You know, we get into a marriage, it becomes just you and your husband. You know, some people lose their friendships. You know, some people don't. Some people keep them. I have friends. I'm not saying that I don't, but you lose that part of something. I'm not part of anything because now I have kids. They're part of something. I
Right.
have
Yes.
part of their world, and then you let go of you, and you lose yourself in that. And that's what's important, to be able to, you know, have the ability to regain that and to admit it.
Yep.
Because then you think, oh no, I want to do this because, man, imagine, you know, I'm exhausted, my kids, this and this and that. Then you have that mom guilt. I don't mean to talk shit about my kids, they're the biggest blessing, you know. Like a bad mom, you're not,
Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
It's like everything they say, you know. It's, and even in marriages, you know, mom and dad have to be in a better place than their children.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's what reflects on the kids.
Yep.
Mom is 24/7 with your kids. Mom has to feel good for your kids to feel good,
Yep.
right? And that alone is like amazing. So, and my girls, they look up to me.
Yeah. That's
You know
awesome.
what I mean? My daughter, the big one, is like, I want to do worlds because I want to be I want to do the kids thing.
Yeah.
You know, Vegas, and I want to do it with you. And
Yeah.
she's like nowhere, you know, like as outgoing as I am. She's super shy. I don't know where she gets it from. But you know, seeing me and doing this, and the consistency and the dedication, and the no, I can, and no, we're gonna do this, and well, mommy's gotta go to the gym first, and then we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
And 9 is like, I want to be like her.
Yeah.
Look at my mom, you know. I
And
mean,
even as they grow older.
she was watching the videos as my husband would send them to her. My mom is like, she was crying because she thought she was there live judging you and everything. And Mom, look at my mom crying. You
Oh,
know?
that's so cute. I love that. And I always say too, we always say, when you show up for yourself, you're able to show up for everyone you love so much better. And
Absolutely.
people don't realize that sometimes. And it goes far beyond now. Like, that's amazing that she looks at you now, but what a role model as a mom for whenever she's a mom, if she's a mom someday, right? Like, you're instilling that the same way that we instill the relationship, the marriage that you have. That kind of serves as like their guide of what kind of relationship they should look up to or should have. Hopefully that's the case, right? You as a mom, everything you do, you know, when she's a mom someday, she's like, no, I got to do things for me. And then we start to break that cycle of the amount of moms who just don't do anything for themselves, you know, into the next generation.
And I think even with all those things you said, right? That alone that you said, the finding your thing and being a part of something and being the role model, like those things alone are the reason that somebody should do something.
Yes.
But if you add that you walk out with this new body and feeling amazing to that equation, like
fucking magic.
I mean,
Magic. It's
Magical.
So, yeah, it's magical.
So you get to the hotel. Let's
Let's go to show weekend.
Let's go to show weekend. You get to the hotel. How did it feel arriving to the hotel knowing that, because along the way, this was up in the air, right? Like we didn't know, is it happening? Is it not happening? Shows got canceled left and right. So we finally make it to the hotel, you check in, and this is really happening. How was that?
I'm shitting in my pants.
Yes.
What is happening? I'm like, holy shit. Now what? I was just kidding, Rob. I'm not gonna do this anymore. Gotta go. That was a cool experience all in itself too, right? And I got there alone, right? Because remember, my husband worked till late that night. So
Right.
I think that my most memorable moment from that whole weekend was check-in. When I got my little team bikini that was teeny, weeny, weeny, insy, bincy, and I'm like, oh, come on, Doris, you're up first. And I was like, am I being bullied right now? Like, what is going on?
Like, I'm trying to help you.
And then I said the story too this weekend, funny. I put it on and I'm like, holy shit, I gotta get out of this behind this wall. And I have to, like, I'm gonna be in front of 200 people. That's what you guys kept saying. Like, dude, we're like 10.
Well, so let me clarify that really quick, because you said you got to the hotel by yourself, and then the memorable part was check-in, not checking into the hotel, just so everyone knows. Checking in with him. Yeah, so we all gathered.
We have in-room check-in so that I could see what everybody looks like, at night, in the morning, in a bikini, so that if we need to make any last-minute corrections, we can do them.
So we had the whole team come to our room so that they can check in, and everyone got their team bikinis and had to take turns.
Yeah.
Doris was first.
Thanks to Lais, she goes like, girl, let me help you. And I remember she was like, ding, ding, ding. She tied them through and I looked completely different after she finished. I was like, oh, well, not so bad after all, eh? Is this how you tie these things? I've been tying them all wrong my whole life.
I was to say, it's a regular bikini. It wasn't even the stage one.
Well, I know. So I come out, whatever. It was overwhelming. I'm not gonna lie, because obviously, you're shy, whatever. I did my thing, but then the next day in the morning, I remember I was like, I know how to wear this now. Like, ready for check-in. Right? And I was like, I remember taking a picture on the mirror, like, I can't believe I am in one of these bikinis and I feel good about it. Like, I'm okay. Like, I'll go to South Beach looking like this right now. Without a problem, right? And that, so those are little moments that you have that you're like, that like, oh shit. Thank you.
You have to catch them though. You have to catch it.
Yeah.
You have to be present in your journey to catch those moments. And that's what I said earlier. This journey is powerful if you allow it. Because you could have woken up and be like, oh my God, but I'm not there yet. Right? Or pick something random apart. Like, but look at this or look at that. Like, you embrace that moment. You're like, holy shit, like this is a big deal right now. Yeah. Like, you have to take in all those moments. So then you send your check-in picture.
No, my mind was that you have to start. This was my starting point.
Right.
This was.
And how long have we been doing this?
Less than 6 months.
Less than 6 months.
That's amazing.
Every time my brother sees me, he's like, in such a short time, like, wow, what you've been working so hard for in the next amount of time, because it's not like I hadn't been chasing it.
Right.
Right.
I just hadn't found the right people. Right here.
So you did your check-in. Was that better the second time?
Yeah, that's it. I just go off and be like, I was always like, the posing and stuff was, for whatever reason, was like a bit of a reality thing for me. So I was like, oh my God, side pose. And I don't know why I would go blank at those specific moments. And I was like, if this happens to me on stage, I'm going to die. But thank God it went well.
Yeah.
And then Saturday night, we had registration night. Everybody gets dressed up. It's the first time you get to see everybody else. How was that?
Registration was epic. That was pretty cool. I mean, I liked, to be honest with you, I think that we stood out. That red and black was fire.
Yeah.
You know, it was a real really nice way to represent us as a team, you know, and we all come together and you're dressed so nice and it's super fancy and the hotel was beautiful, you know. I mean, we had great views everywhere. Like everywhere you went was like a nice picture moment. Um and then you get to see everybody else, right? And you see that everybody's kind of like it's you I don't know how to put it, I don't know how to explain it, right? But you start to, as the weekend goes, you start to like, "Ah, I got this, like
Mhm.
I'm gonna be fine, you know." I felt that all the way up to those stairs, you know, to those stairs. I was there and I'm looking in front of me, I'm like, I'm shining. I got this. but but like it's really weird, I don't know, like that's just what, that was my experience of what happened to me. I was like, I'm gonna be all right. I really wish, I mean, once I experienced the stage, I wish I would have come out in my gown first, right? Because
Everyone
I feel
says
like
that.
if it would have been like okay, this is what this is like, this is what I'll be able to see or what I won't be able to see, and then boom, you rock your look. But it didn't work out that way. But when I got off, I was like, put me back on.
Let me
I'm
try
ready.
this again.
We're gonna do over. We go back really quick.
That's great.
You realize that it's not
It
that
goes
bad.
Right.
quick. It goes quick
And it's
too.
okay. Like it's not an overwhelming, massive stadium of people, and it's
No,
okay.
you really couldn't see.
Yeah.
Couldn't see. The only person I could see was Rob. That's the only person. He was like my savior. I saw his face and it was like a piece in my life.
Oh,
There he is, my backbone.
And it's the craziest thing because being in a bikini in public in general is hard. Even if you're at the beach and nobody's looking at you.
yeah.
But being in a bikini on stage where the lights are shining on you and everyone is staring at you,
Critiquing you.
right? That is.
But you know what you start to come to terms with? Like being backstage, nobody's looking at you. Everybody's so wrapped up into themselves that they can't be bothered. Everybody's like, "Oh, you look great." Worried about themselves. Like you could have been like, I don't know, the worst looking one there, and they're still like, "Hey, yeah, you look awesome." Like, hey, whatever. Nobody's dissecting you like
Right.
Well,
that.
when you're on stage.
Between the competitors,
Yeah,
between.
yeah.
But I'm saying, like, as you know, in the regular whole, gist of things, and I feel like that life is like that too. Like when you're at the beach, you're not
No one's
get,
looking at you.
like it's not no.
Yeah,
Everybody there's there with their family, with their people. Like you're not that important. Relax,
yeah.
you know. So you start to like see things in a different light, and that helps you also carry yourself, in generally in public or whatever.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah,
was crazy.
and I think that if you put that whole experience, that like from the moment that you start and the dedication to the food and the training and the culmination on stage, and to walk off the stage and say, shit, I really did that.
Yeah.
Like that sense of completion, right? Like regardless if you never wanted to do it again, the fact that you started something and you finished it,
Mhm.
that alone is monumental.
Yes.
Huge, absolutely. And everybody, and people tell you like you're a badass. Hey, you you did something that I wouldn't be able to do.
Yeah.
So you get different.
Feeling. Yeah.
Mhm.
So then what happened after you got off stage? You felt like you want to get back on, and then what was your thought process after?
I gotta go get this burger. Hurry up.
Yeah. Eat.
um, my thought after was okay, because you have people that, for those of you watching,
For the fans, Doris, for the fans.
click, go to subscribe if you like this channel. Subscribe right here, right? Okay, so so you have the people that do it for the experience, right? For the whole like, I'm putting myself through this, blah 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 blah, and then you start like looking at it from a competitor standpoint. We ain't doing experiences no more. We're winning
Yes.
because that's how much you enjoy it. And you say to yourself, if I could do this, no, 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 we're going to do this the right way. My mentality, not
Right.
anybody else.
Everyone's different. Everyone's different.
So, of course, I'm waiting for my feedback. That's exactly, I'm like, I got to hear what I got to hear. I need to hear what am I working on next? And then you get those post show blues because you feel like, oh my God, what do I do now? What's next? And that's when I started to like reflect, and I was like, okay, I'm for sure doing it again. What am I tackling? Let me dissect and critique myself and see if it correlates with what coach is going to tell me, right? And see how if we're on the right page, or if I'm not missing something, or if I'm over analyzing something else. And that's it. And then you just will go from there.
That's awesome. I think that there's so many really good takeaways from a lot of the things that you said.
I can't wait to chop all this up.
There are so many things that you
Yes.
said, but I do have to ask, like, what is something that you wish maybe more people, could take or think out of this experience, that are on the fence, somebody who's curious, or like, should I, what's something you think that they should know?
On the fence, jumping.
That's what I
Jumping.
always say.
Jumping. Take the leap. If you're on the fence, take the leap. You know what I mean? If you and go in 110%. If you're gonna go in, you go all in. Don't jump and then halfway it, because you know that's a big thing for me, and I think it's why it took me so long to do it and whatnot, because once I say to myself, this is what I'm gonna do, it's what I do, right? So do it, and do it 200%, and make that change and go on and experience it. And it's what you guys saying. Maybe you'll love it, maybe you'll hate it, but you did it. So you're never gonna second guess. You're like, what if? That what if that's it's gonna take you through life, and you're gonna miss out on so many things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because of those doubts. Lose the doubt, do it. I recommend that to anybody and everybody. Doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter how many situations you can have. I mean, people on our team work out in their house, in their kitchen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't need a gym. You don't need anything. You need to be committed. It needs to be head in the game 100%. And there's no excuses. Nothing's going to get in your way if you're determined to make it happen.
I love that.
100%. What was one of the most surprising things that you noticed amongst the competitors for you, or for the weekend?
Uh, can you elaborate on that a little?
Like what stood out to you? Like, wow, like I never
That
thought.
you expect it to be different, maybe.
I thought the competition be a little harder, like more harsh. And it's truly the opposite of that. Everybody's pretty welcoming. And if you're a first timer, they welcome you in, like saying, wow, hey, you're going to do this. It's going to be great. And you're going to love it. And, everybody's pretty much rooting themselves on, and you start to think, because I'm not a girl group type,
Right, power.
that's not my thing, right? Like women are catty, and they have ways of being that you're just like, I'd rather not, save the drama for your mama kind of thing, right? But when you're in a group, or when you're part of a team that has the same vision, everybody's on board.
Yeah.
So nobody's trying to see you fail, or nobody. On the contrary, you're being like rooted on. You're the best cheerleaders are your teammates.
Yeah.
So that was pretty. I think that's why I enjoyed the experience from Backstage so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we were just a bunch of girls trying to like have some fun,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that was cool.
That's awesome.
Okay, I'll do my question. What was the most impactful part of this journey? It could be anything, just from beginning to end. Like, what would you say doing this? What was the most impactful part of doing this?
I think it was I think that the most thing that what most impressed me, right, was was the outcome. Was the outcome, and how and Ralph nailed it. It was like, wow, to be honest with you, like he did. I had never. I've been around. I've had a few sets of trainers. I've had a few coaches. I've done it all, right? And I never really trusted the process as much as I put the trust in in it now. And he nailed it on, like, on the money. It was like, wow. I was blown away, and I see it in a different light, and I see you in a different light. I see you guys in it's different. I don't know how to explain it. Um, I guess, when you're older, it's harder to put your trust in people, right? And to kind of see people in a different light, other than what it is, right? A bit like business.
Right.
Mhm.
Let's be real, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then you say to yourself, no, this is what they do. Of course they're gonna tell you you're gonna be ready for a show, right?
Yeah.
But you're not, and this, that, and the other, right? And of course he's gonna tell you that you're walking on your heels and you're walking fine, whatever, right? No, 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 no. Like, on a serious note, like, it was. I'm glad to have met you guys, and I'm glad that I went through the experience, and that it was with you guys, like in a humble, caring way.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Thank you.
That was so sweet. Don't make me cry. This is happy times.
Yeah.
I think that
We
that's
have
a
to end it there.
That's it. That's it.
Doris, this was so amazing. Thank you. It's so refreshing to be so real and honest and out there. I can't wait to see you in 2021 and to have you back after your next show. When is your next show?
June.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so, so much. People
You're
are going to get so much out of this. I love it.
100%. And if you are listening on iTunes, on Spotify, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, you could share it. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button, share, subscribe, do whatever it is do the things that people do on podcasts. People point. There's a button somewhere, right? Peace out, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you, Doris.